March 5th, 8 o'clock briefing. Invocation, we have Dr. Michael Collier from Rosa First Baptist Church here. Pledge allegiance be Vice Chair William H. Pate. Do the approval of minutes. Do we have discussion adjustment of the agenda, Mr. Honeycutt?
No, sir, not today.
Does any commissioner have anything like to add or discuss?
Mr. Chairman, we ain't got down there to it yet, but it's in the consent agenda about that variance. Are we gonna, could we vote on that today, council, if we wanted to? Or you have to say, that's just said, that's just established in the hearing, okay.
Established the hearing.
All right, well, you knew where I was headed.
Yes.
But I got you, I had to read that a little closer, it's just established the hearing, we have to do that first, okay? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's fine. And then James Wade will be here to do a Maxwell Center 1 year update.
Yes, sir.
And then Kevin Johnson will be behind him with the farmer's market update.
Yes, sir.
Then we have a public hearing. You want to refresh everybody's memory on that one?
Public comments.
Yeah. We will have Julie Metz here as back in November, we passed we had a public hearing to pass tax credits, historic tax credits for development in downtown Goldsboro. The project kind of got delayed. There was some issues with the final agreement. The project has come back around and they're ready to move forward. And this is for us to approve of the new agreement moving forward on those historic tax credits.
Is the hotel included in that?
No, sir. I apologize about that.
Okay. Appointment Committee, Commissioner Acott.
Yes, sir, we do have some reappointments this morning,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Then unfinished business, the 911 Center,
Yes, sir.
and then we'll start with consent agenda. So I'll just turn this over to you and Ms. Spate.
First is application for present use land value. Everything looks fine with this request. And then next is budget amendments, and I will turn it to Allison.
The first budget amendment is for cooperative extension. They are anticipating an additional $500 in program fees to use on the horticultural program.
For some reason, I don't have that in here.
Page 22. 22.
Okay. All right.
Okay. For social services, requesting to reallocate $15,000 from the program reimbursements line item to the clerk of court. They've just exceeded their use. These pay for things like paternity test requests and other similar orders that have to go through the clerk of court. For the health department, they've received an amendment from the Division of Public Health on mosquito abatement activities in the amount of $42,968. And so we are anticipating and appropriating those funds accordingly. For social services, they've received an adjustment on the low-income energy assistance program in the amount of $119,404. And that is 100% federal funds, so we are anticipating and appropriating those dollars. For the health department, anticipating an additional $30,128. This is from Division of Public Health on the Healthy Mothers Health Children program. This will be used to purchase additional equipment, materials, and supplies for that activity. We have another budget amendment from the Health Department, a total of $20,757. These are additional funds received from NCDPH, and this will be used for maternal. This is a maternal and child health mini grant that they received. We have two grouped together, numbers 350 and 351. Both are related to Wayne County Public Schools capital projects. And it is the reimbursables related to the architectural fees on both Southern Wayne High and Northwest Elementary. This was just for the designing of those projects. So there were reimbursables that were submitted after the prior budget amendments that we had at the last meeting, and we are having to do a budget amendment to appropriate those funds.
Can we get a little more explanation on that
With respect to Northwest, they had completed the design work, and we did our budget amendment at the last meeting. I think it was 300 and...
About $400,000.
It was
Is
like-
it, is it design work or preliminary design work?
It was the design work.
Okay.
And part of the contract that they have is reimbursables from the architect are part of the contract. We did not get this invoice until after the budget amendment was done a couple of weeks ago. So this is part of their contract for the reimbursables.
Okay.
Another question, Craig. Is there a time limit as to these engineering studies and so forth that's been done, especially on these 3 projects that have been sort of put on hold? Is there a time limit on the architectural fees? In other words, if you wait 2 or 3 years, are you going, well, we're going to have to go back through all this again?
This is, if the laws change with respect to building codes, you may have to go back and update it, but they should be fine. As long as the building codes are not changing, the plan should be fine.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is we did have a discussion last meeting. I believe there's like $185,000 in engineering studies. And I want to make sure that we don't have to repeat that
Right.
2 or 3 years from now.
Right. As long as the building codes don't change, we
Okay.
should be fine.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, we don't expect any more of these.
Not from Northwest or at this time. Again, I think, with respect to the other capital projects, those are issues we're trying to work out with the school system now.
Okay. For your next budget amendment, this is for the Wayne Executive Jetport. A Golden Leaf grant was received in the amount of $200,000. This will be used for the corporate area expansion and water line expansion project. The final budget amendment is to anticipate a reimbursement of $3,900 from the city of Goldsboro. This will be for half of the rental expense over at the Wayne County Drug Squad office, and to appropriate it for equipment. I believe it's security equipment for that office. And that is all I have for you today.
Mr. Chairman. If I could we ask the county manager to go back and kind of give us a breakdown of the grants that we have in fact received at the Jetport and offsetting that with whatever our expenses are going to be, so the contract, so we could see kind of where we stand on that.
We're glad to. I don't have that information from you, but
Sure,
we can
sure.
get it to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next is a motion to approve patient fees, eligibility, and bad debt write-off for the Wayne County Health Department as recommended by the Wayne County Board of Health. And our Health Director, David Madden, is here. If David, you want to come up and...
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Yeah, this is quick on this number 3 item because this is essentially just, we had to add, I think you can flip over to maybe the back page of that policy if you need to, but it's really about our 340B drug pricing. That's our low income and eligibility drug. We have certain restrictions on how we charge for that, so we have to make sure that our policy reflects that we charge differently for our cost to the patient for those drugs.
Mr. Chairman. Yes. There's only one question, and that's on the front page here. From what I'm seeing here, we are adding the line, individuals requesting program services are not required to apply for Medicaid in order to receive services.
That's correct. Because
Is that in addition?
Yeah, well, it's a clarification. It's always been that way. I mean, it's nothing new, but we've never been turning anyone away due to their inability to pay. So if they have the eligibility Medicaid, we recommend them. We try to refer them to DSS to get their enrollment, but we don't refuse to see them if they choose not to. But they go then on the sliding fee scale if they're uninsured and self-pay.
Is that on all services?
Yes, all mandated services it is, yes. The only
mandates.
services that doesn't apply to is specifically fixed fee services, which we only have a few of those, and mostly some of those are, I think, vaccinations. And one,
I'm not trying to pick on it, but I mean, that kind of opens up Pandora's box, in my opinion. If you're just saying you don't have to apply and we are going to provide services to anyone based upon their ability to pay or not ability to pay, what services are we talking about?
well, the thing is, Commissioner Daugherty, is we don't tell them they don't have to. That, our policy just has to reflect it for our adherence to the agreement addenda and the consolidated agreement with the state. We just have to have it in our policy that states that we will not reject them if they're eligible for Medicaid, but they don't have Medicaid. So we try to encourage them. We put them with, we refer them to DSS. We try to get them an appointment. Even the staff themselves will call upstairs currently and see if they're available. They'll try to send them up there, but we just can't force them to do it. And then if they don't choose to do it, we then can in return refuse to provide services to them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'm gonna sit down and be right back up. Sit down.
Okay, thank you. Next is number 4, motion to adopt resolution 2019-7, resolution adopting the designation of applicant's agent for the Hurricane Florence APM-GP 4393 project. And basically this lists myself as a primary, Chip as secondary, as your agents for this grant. The next, number 5, motion to approve the Wayne County Health Department fee schedule as recommended by the Wayne County Board of Health.
Commissioner, again, this is something that we have to do annually to look at our fees. If we have additional fees that we have to add, of course, the process is by law, they have to go before the Board of Health for approval, and then once the Board of Health approves those fees, then they have to go before the Board of Commissioners for approval for those fees. Basically, there's a few adjustments you can see on the far right column where it says the differences. And what we do is we try to round up our fees to be effective, but our fees are, we establish them based on the cost to provide service, but the cost to provide services doesn't have a lot to do with the amount that we get in on revenue. So it's really a requirement that we just maintain our cost of services in line, their fee in line with our cost of services. And this is the updated annual fee schedule.
Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Chairman. I always ask this, and probably Nick Shaw asked the same thing. When the fee schedule changes, it's not to make a profit, it's to keep the revenue level so that we don't lose anything.
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
I expected that to be the answer, but whenever you come up and the public see that you're asking about fees, I like for folk to know that the Board of Health is not raising fees to make money, they're raising fees to stay.
Well, exactly,
Yeah.
Commissioner Cromartie. And like I said, that's a good point you bring up. But the bottom line is we're required to maintain our fees in line with our costs, but our costs don't have anything really to do with the revenue. So we're not for profit as a county human services agency. What we do, we get basically everything that we get paid for is already a fee schedule that we've agreed upon with the insurance company, whether it's Medicaid rates or a third party. Otherwise, there's a fee for service, and like I said, without the rare occasion of the fixed fees, which they're not changed by sliding fee. Everyone that's self-pay falls on a sliding fee. So a lot of people slide to zero based on their income, and we do income eligibility on everyone that's self-pay, so to see what their portion is. So in the end, to your question, yes, there is no profit involved. This is just to stay in line with our mandates.
Mr. Madden, just let you know that I'm an equal opportunity question asker. Whenever we get the budget session, I will want to be asking all department heads a similar question about raising fees. Being a rather conservative citizen, I would like to think that we are not raising fees to make money, we're raising fees to try to stay level and current, because whenever our citizens pay their property taxes, I don't like to see them have to go back and double dip into their pockets for fees because that's just an added tax. So just so we know where my heart is and the pocketbook is, the purse. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I would just request, if it's okay with the board, and that I be excusing from the main meeting if you're satisfied with this on the consent, so that I don't have to stay. Is that okay?
Go back there and you keep.
Thank you, David.
All right, thanks, David.
Well, I lose an opportunity to question you again.
Getting smarter.
Next is number 6, motion to establish a Board of Adjustment public hearing on April 2nd, 2019 at 9:30 a.m. for a setback variance request for an electronic gaming operation. And I'll turn that over to Barry.
All right, good morning. With this request, like was said, we're just requesting that you set a public hearing next month for a Board of Adjustment hearing for a variance request for a property out on Old Hare Road. It's a sweepstakes facility. Ordinance requires that they be greater than 1,000 feet from residential properties, and in this case, they do not meet that standard. And actually, there are 11 residential properties within 1,000 feet of this property. So, but the applicant still wishes to request a variance and go through that process so that they can try and attempt to move forward with their request. But again, we're just asking that you set that public hearing next month so that we can notify adjacent property owners and receive public comment at that meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is there anything unusual that would make this variance reasonable? Oh, he just wants to open up there.
He just wants to open up. And that's one thing next month I'll talk about is when you consider a variance, you have to consider if there is something special about this that does not apply to other sweepstakes facilities. And with a request such as this, they all have to meet the same standard. So you would have to make that finding, which would be rather difficult. You have to basically find that he does kind of set himself apart and has a specific situation on his property. But with that, you know,
Okay.
like I said, you do potentially open the door for others, you know, as you move forward.
Mr. Chairman, you answered my question.
Mr. Daugherty.
I reckon my first question is this: why would we have an ordinance that requires 1,000-foot buffer? I take it that this property is some type of a commercial property if he's wanting to open up this gaming facility.
Right. It's, I guess because the property, it is commercial, it is a commercial building.
It's a commercial building.
It is a commercial building, but with the type of use that it is, with the gaming facilities themselves and in a sense.
Well, I understand that, but who
They're-
established 1,000-foot?
The Board of Commissioners in the ordinance established a 1,000-foot separation.
Why?
Why?
Because people don't
Yeah.
like to live next to gaming facilities.
Right.
I mean, is it an internet gaming?
It is.
I mean, they're not serving alcohol, are they?
Gaming, it is computer, you know, we've had seen some issues with others that have opened in the county where there have been criminal activity that has taken place in some of these facilities. Usually they're open late at night and draw large crowds. And so typically that's why you see these separations between residential properties is because of, you know, and the state had in the past has attempted to place regulations as well on gaming facilities. And so there are some considerations there as well.
So this gaming, that's gambling and gambling for money.
Right, in a sense.
Sir?
Yes, in a sense, yes.
So that's,
I think Wayne's next.
was that, I'm sorry.
I would just like to encourage anyone that's got an interest in this to please be here at the public hearing so we can hear from, I'd like to hear from at least 11.
Yeah.
But I just would encourage people to participate in this public hearing.
Right, and we'll be sending notices out to all the property owners within 1,000 feet, and also posting the property with a sign, which we're required to do, of course, by law, but we'll be doing that.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Acock sort of covered, his comment sort of covered my broad concern, because I think we're on the same wavelength with that.
Mr. Mayor.
I have a question. Did I miss something here on this information? What are they requesting the 1,000-foot setback to be? I don't see that on here. Did I miss it?
They didn't put a specific distance. The closest residence is 200, I believe around 200 feet or so.
240.
240. So yeah, it's basically an 860-foot variance, basically is what they're asking for.
Okay.
And as I recall, this thing was operated illegally before.
Right, this one
And
did
it was
open
open
up.
24/7.
That's right. This one did open up previously illegally and had to be shut down. That's right.
Again, Mr. Chairman, I just encourage everyone who has an interest to be here to the public hearing.
Yep.
Thank you, Barry.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Next is a motion, number 7, a motion to establish a public hearing on April 16th, 2019 at 9:15 a.m. to receive public comments on proposed lease of a corporate hangar at the Wayne County Executive Jetport to UNC Health for a period up to 10 years. And this is really just redoing the lease that they have and really making it more advantageous to the county. So we're really appreciative of the work that our airport commission has done, and also Brandon Gray to help us get to this point. Okay. Next is new business. Introduction of our new animal control director, and we have a new animal control director, Graham Price, will be here, and want you make sure that you meet him and you know who he is. Next is a motion to approve the cancellation of all fees, waivers due to Hurricane Florence. As the board's aware, after Hurricane Florence, we waived fees with respect to our inspections department for anything that was hurricane-related damage. We are now almost 9 months from Hurricane Florence. We feel like some of our contractors may have been taking advantage of that. Most of the work, or we feel like all the work that's related to a hurricane has been accomplished, and we would like just to go back and add the fees. And
You're saying that you think all of the contractors have probably done the work related from Florence? I mean, is that?
It like the HVAC work and those type issues, we're getting people we feel like that have probably, it is not hurricane related, but they're saying it's hurricane related, and we're not charging those fees.
So you're talking about like roofing contractors and people like that?
Yes, sir.
Let me share this with you. Now, I'm not case by case, but I know of several cases because of all the bad weather we've had. A lot of roofing contractors are way behind.
Well, if it needs of inspection, if a roofing contractor doesn't need an inspection, but if most of the inspections like HVAC, electrical, building, usually don't need an inspection for roofs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the landfill fees
No, I
have
thought
been
you meant
waived.
landfill fees. I
It's been
misunderstood.
canceled
Yeah,
months ago.
landfill fees back in December, I believe,
Yeah.
was the last.
Motion
I
to
think
approve the cancellation of all.
because we didn't have any more debris on the side of the road at that point, or any commercial debris. So, but I did check with the landfill. There's not been any issues or people questioning or any problems.
This is just a formality.
Yes, sir.
You have comments? You have comments? today?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you were pointing somebody about.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just
I
trying-
do have a couple of comments.
I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
trying to move us along.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Then Board Commissioner comments, and we need to go in closed session this morning for
Yes,
the
sir,
purpose.
to discuss matters related to the location or expansion of industries and businesses in Wayne County, and to consult with attorneys to preserve your attorney-client privilege.
We have a motion.
So moved.
All in favor?